All right, let's go over part 2 of my previous video. I'm Hayden Winter. Welcome to Hayden Winter Outdoors. Now, I have actually had where made in America and made in Australia is very different to what most people think it means. So, in the previous industries I've been into, I have actually had things that are made in Australia or made in America. When explained to most people, would consider that nothing like what they thought it meant. You can have things that are made in America, and often, especially if you noticed, the headquarters are very close to a border, mainly Mexico. The main product is actually manufactured in Mexico and finished off in America. So that's how they skirt the laws there. Same in Australia. What you get is, say you get everything manufactured in China and then it's deconstructed and then they reconstruct it here in Australia. Say this broadhead, for instance. You could have every part of this manufactured in China and then they simply piece it together and screw it together here and they call it made in Australia. Same as you can have whole item completely made over in China. As long as, now I may get the percentages wrong here, but from what I roughly remember, as long as more than half of your cost as a wholesale cost is in Australia and is spent in Australia, you can call it made in Australia. So that's another thing to always take into mind too. I've had a particular company, a particular store tell, I shouldn't shoot something that's made in China. I should shoot something made in America. And then when I pointed out the fact to him that their headquarters is suspiciously close to the Mexico border and that I would bet my left nut that they were manufactured in Mexico and finished in America, he was a little bit confused by that. So it's very dodgy publicity and marketing, but that is the reality of it. So if you see products that have a good reputation and have a history of having good quality and reputation, don't get thrown off if it says made in China or made in Mexico, because I guarantee you a lot of the other part, even bows, even if you take these Hoyt bows, especially like their carbon bow, yes, made in America, but for instance, I know 100% that their carbon risers are made in China. Doesn't mean they're any worse. It just means they're made in China. A lot of these parts would be sourced probably out of China, but the quality control of a Hoyt is just unbelievable. It doesn't mean that it's any worse off because it's made in China when you have Americans or Australians controlling the quality. All right, there's some food for thought. If you got any questions about what to buy or things like that, I'm no means an expert in the field. I know a few fellows who know a lot, but I have also gone through the growing pains of what to buy, when to buy it, and helped a lot of mates out too of like steering them in the right direction, especially when they're wanting to upgrade or make their first purchases. So if you got any questions at all about any of these topics, please shoot me a message. I know a few people already have. I'll be more than happy to have a chat with you. Thanks for watching. Cheers.